Good YouTube, it is Amir, back again with another video, and today we gonna have a different type of video. We gonna be doing sort of like a study with me, cause I have this business management exam coming up on Wednesday. Today's Sunday, so today I'm gonna be looking at some of the notes I took in class and kind of like talking to y'all about some of the entrepreneurship or business management notes that I took in order to kind of help both of us understand. Side note, I actually had me a little mic. It's like a Blue Yeti microphone. I think I got it from like Best Buy or something like 3 weeks ago. I just do not be using my mic, but now I'm about to get back on my YouTube videos. I'm gonna be using my mic, and I also been getting comments about my website to help people through the college application process. I'm working on updating it right now. Actually, it should be up within the week. So if anybody has questions about applying for scholarships, applying for colleges, because I know deadline's coming up, definitely leave a comment or message me. But back to the video. First, let's start off with a few vocabulary words just so we know what we're actually reading. A business is actually any activity that seeks to provide goods and services to others while operating at a profit. Now, you gotta pay attention to that last part, at a profit. Because I know some of y'all be talking about y'all got your own little business on the side. If y'all not operating at a profit, it's not a business. Your little side hustle, if you're not making no bread off that, I'm sorry. It's not a business. It's just a failed investment. Okay, standard of living is the amount of goods and services people can buy with the money they have. So people talk about standard of living, wanting to improve their standard of living. That means, depending on how you want to live, could potentially mean improving your income, improving the profit that you make from your business. If you want to buy, I don't know, go out to eat at an expensive restaurant weekly, or get that new Prada, Gucci clothing, then you're going to have to improve your income in order to improve your standard of living, because a standard of living is the amount of goods and services people can buy with the money that you have. And you don't have no money, your standard of living is going to be down here. Hold on. I don't know if y'all can see that. Down here. Now, I know how it feels to have a low standard of living, so I'm not thrashing on the people. Stakeholders are people who stand to gain or lose by the policies and activities businesses and those concerned about the business need to address. So it's kind of like you invested in a business, because like for me, I invest in stock. So as a stakeholder in a stock, we're making this like comparison. If the company does poorly, then the stock can go down. And me as a stakeholder, I'll be negatively affected, because I want to make money on my investment, so I want the stock to go up. Nonprofit organization. A nonprofit organization, textbook definition is an organization whose goals do not include making a personal profit for its owners or organizers. Now, a lot of times people think a nonprofit organization means nobody's making money. If you work for a nonprofit, you're going to be making money. The founders of the nonprofit have opportunities to actually earn income. They're not just doing it for free. They get tax breaks, they get money. So whenever you see especially like Black Lives Matter was a nonprofit organization, although they were using the money to purchase homes and invest in things of that nature for the founders, they are still a nonprofit, but you can have parts of a nonprofit be for profit. So you're making money, just based on the business that you're running, the services that you're providing. So a lot of people think a nonprofit, all the money's supposed to go back to the community, et cetera, et cetera. But you got to remember that you have to pay the people that you're employing. You have to pay for the resources that the nonprofit provides. You have to pay for a lot of other things. So when it comes to a nonprofit is going to make money. It's going to have income, and that income can be dispersed. Productivity is the amount of output you generate given the amount of input. Everybody wants to be productive. Productivity is the word that basically describes how much output you get from your input. Next, we have economics, which is the study of how society chooses to employ resources to produce goods and services and distribute them for consumption among various competing groups and individuals. So whenever you're studying economics, know that you're studying how society employs resources to produce goods and services. You hear a lot about macroeconomics and microeconomics. I actually took macro last year. I'm taking micro, I think, second semester this year. So definitely goes into a lot of studying charts, especially analytics, determining the situation around the business in order to determine kind of like the impact of economics on society as a whole. So when we're talking about business environment, sort of like, of course, the environment surrounding a business, there's a lot that comes into play. With the 5 points in my notes being economic and legal environment, you have the technological environment, the competitive environment, the social environment, and the global business environment. And so if you yourself are looking at starting your own business, these are some things that you should do research into and really fully understand, try to understand, because the more research you do before you start a business, the more planning and organizing and controlling you do, probably the better it's going to turn out, and the more prepared you'll be when something inevitably goes wrong or you have to make big decisions. So breaking down the economic and legal environment, you have the freedom of ownership, you have contract laws, elimination of corruption, tradable currency, minimum taxes and regulation. I'm probably actually put this chart on the screen. Then for the technological environment, you have information technology. I'm actually double majoring in information technology and entrepreneurship. So I know a little bit about that. IT, databases, barcodes, and the internet. The competitive environment involves customer service, stakeholder recognition, employee service, concern for the environment. And the social environment involves diversity, demographic changes, and family changes. Now we're going to dive into the types of economic systems. Of course, there are kind of like two main economic systems that are used today. You have command economies, which the government largely decides what goods and services will be produced, who gets them, and how the economy will grow. This is a couple of examples of a command economy is like socialism and communism. And so it's really it's large government involvement. When you talk about a command economy, you think of places like China or Russia. The government has a large influence on what's occurring in the economic climate, which a lot of people say America has command economy tendencies when it comes to the government being in people's business, as I would say, but we're not a command economy. I mean, some things may seem kind of socialist or command-ish, but we're definitely not on that extreme side. Number two is a free market economy, which exists when the market determines what goods and services will be produced, who gets them, and how the economy will grow. So command economy is like the government plays a large role, while a free market economy is basically the market itself. The consumers and the producers determine everything that occurs. So it's more like the American dream. You can do what you want to do, come out with your own business. The producers, if a producer is producing something that consumers want, supply and demand, they'll be in business. If a producer is creating something that consumers don't want, they're gonna have to either go out of business or switch their product. And a popular example of a free market economy is, of course, capitalism. That's the economic system that the United States uses today. Now we're going to break down some of those command market systems, such as socialism. Now, socialism, I know a lot of people think socialism is a terrible thing. A lot of times, especially when it comes to politics, somebody like Bernie Sanders people will say he has socialist views, when in reality, the United States already practices socialism, just based on government programs, free food programs, etc., etc. Those are all like forms of socialism. Socialism is basically an economic system in which most basic needs like utilities and steel mills are owned by the government, so profits can be distributed equally among the people. So of course there's no private owned businesses, rarely. The profits are supposedly dispersed between the people, but there's been a lot of corruption in socialist societies, as history can tell you. Entrepreneurs run smaller businesses and are taxed heavily to fund social programs, which discourages entrepreneurship. Because me personally, if everybody making the same amount of money, if the wealth is being distributed equally, then me starting my own business doesn't really seem like a good idea because they're gonna tax me heavily, and there's really kind of like no point. It kind of discourages the free mind entrepreneur in a socialist economy. Now, many investors, creative thinkers, and doctors kind of leave socialist countries due to the little opportunity. There's not really much you can do because me, in my job in which I'm probably working, maybe had to go to school for years, put in a lot of work, I'm getting paid the same as somebody else doing a service job, which in their mind, they may think, I should be getting paid more than this and I should have more opportunities to create wealth. Now, we're talking about communism. Communism is an economic and political system in which the government makes almost all economic decisions and owns almost all major factors of production. And so the factors of production, if I can remember correctly, are entrepreneurship, capital, knowledge, I believe land, and something else. We're actually going to get to that in the next chapter. But communism does not inspire businesses to work hard because, the economic and political system and basically every decision is created by the government, and the government sometimes might not have the people's, especially people in poverty or in the lower class, their best decisions at heart. And so they may not think things through, or they may think things through and think, it doesn't matter, this is how we're going to run things. You as an individual don't really have a choice in a sense. So communist governments throughout history, I'll probably pop some pictures on the screen, but I believe Russia, Soviet Union, Gorbachev, et cetera, et cetera. So now we're going to talk about our next type of economy, which is free market capitalism. In capitalism, almost all factors of production and distribution are owned by individuals. So individuals like me and yourself can create wealth and create our businesses because in the capitalistic market, everything is supposed to be equal. It's the foundation of the U.S. economy as well as England, Australia, and Canada. And it's based on Adam Smith's book. I know y'all remember this from high school. Adam Smith, The Wealth of Nations. As people try to improve their own situations in life, some invisible hand, will help the whole economy grow. So basically, Adam Smith came up with the idea that if everybody works hard, if everybody is trying to focus on themselves, focus on their own business, then somehow the entire economy will benefit, which is true. If you focus on providing a product and everybody else focuses on providing a product, there's going to have to be a consumer. And so we're eventually going to have to develop a product that the people like or a service that the people need. And so in trying to get your own wealth, you're actually helping the world, or at least the United States. Also, this is one of the most important points of the chapter, being the 4 basic rights under free market capitalism, which are the right to own property, the right to own business and keep all the profits after taxes. Of course, Uncle Sam got to get his cut. The right to freedom of competition and the right to freedom of choice. So those are the 4 basic rights under free market capitalism. If somebody were to infringe on those rights, there will probably be a lawsuit at hand. Business and wealth building, and some of the key topics from that chapter. And so if this is the outro, this is Amir. Thank you so much for watching. Definitely hit that subscribe button. Stay tuned. I'm coming out with more videos, spreading the knowledge, also studying for myself for my exam. I hope I pass. But yeah, if this is the outro, I'm gonna catch y'all. If not, on to chapter 2.